On her marble doorstep stood not the sleek, suited butler she'd ordered from the elite butler agency, but a rugged man in a faded shirt, holding a harmonica, with a barefoot little girl clutching his hand. His voice trembled when he spoke. "Ma'am. I'm here for the job." The man's eyes were haunted, the child's face smudged with dirt, and something about the way they stood, half in shadow, half in sunlight, made Madison's pulse spike with unease. "Where's the butler I hired?" she demanded. He swallowed hard. "They sent me instead." The girl tugged on his sleeve. "Daddy," she looked sad. For a second, Madison's jaw clenched. Sad? She was the richest woman in Brookshire County, owner of Hill Estate, a mansion big enough to echo her loneliness. But that man, those eyes. They looked like someone who'd already lost everything. Before we dive into what happened next, if you love heartfelt stories with shocking twists, hit that like button and subscribe to the Kindness Chronicles. Trust me, this story's ending will make your heart stop. Chapter 1, The Wrong Butler. Madison Hill had everything money could buy, except peace. She lived in a mansion overlooking the Blue Hills of Virginia, with crystal chandeliers, imported furniture, and a silence that could swallow you whole. Her husband, Charles Hill, had passed away a year ago in a car crash, a crash that had also ended her unborn child's life. Since then, Madison had become colder, harder, almost mechanical. She fired staff like changing clothes, nobody ever stayed. So when she ordered a 5-star certified butler for $10,000 a month from an exclusive agency, she expected perfection. Polished shoes. British accent. Impeccable manners. Not this. The man before her looked like he hadn't shaved in days. His shirt was ironed but old. His shoes, scuffed. The girl beside him had tangled golden hair, wearing a mismatched pink dress with no shoes. "I think you've made a mistake," Madison said sharply. "I asked for a professional, not a single father," he interrupted quietly. "I understand." His tone wasn't defensive. It was humble. Almost broken. Madison blinked. "Who are you?" "My name's Evan Carter. This is my daughter, Lily. I used to work at the estate's maintenance division, before it closed." "You used to?" "Yes, ma'am. But after my wife passed, things got hard." Madison's lips tightened. She hated hearing other people's tragedies, they made her remember her own. "Then why are you here?" He took out a folded letter, the agency's logo stamped on top. "They told me this position was open. I might not fit the uniform, but I can serve. I just need a chance." Madison looked at the little girl. She was staring at the glass chandelier, her reflection sparkling in the crystals. "You can't bring a child to work," Madison snapped. Evan's jaw tensed. "I don't have anyone to leave her with. I'll keep her out of your way, I swear." "Absolutely not." Madison turned to shut the door, but the girl suddenly spoke in a trembling voice. "Please, ma'am. Daddy plays the harmonica for me when I'm scared. I promise we won't break anything." Her big blue eyes shone like glass marbles. For reasons Madison couldn't explain, her hand stopped mid-motion. She sighed. 1 week. That's all. If you fail, you're both gone." Evan nodded, relief flooding his face. "Thank you, ma'am. You won't regret it." Madison wasn't so sure. The shadows in the mansion. The first few days were awkward. Evan worked tirelessly, polishing floors, dusting antique shelves, tending to the rose garden. Lily sat quietly in corners, drawing pictures with crayons on scraps of paper. She rarely spoke. But when she did, she said things that made Madison's heart ache. Like the morning she whispered, "Miss Madison, your house is sad." Madison froze mid-sip of coffee. "What do you mean?" Lily looked around. No one laughs here. The walls miss it. Madison turned away, pretending not to hear. But that night, as she sat alone in the dimly lit library, sipping wine, she heard something unusual, a faint, haunting melody floating through the halls. The harmonica. Soft. Mournful. Beautiful. It wasn't loud enough to disturb, just enough to wrap around her grief like a fragile thread. She stepped out of the library and followed the sound to the servants' quarters. There, through the half-open door, she saw Evan playing, Lily asleep in his lap. The way he looked at his daughter, gentle, protective, made something in Madison's chest crack open. It reminded her of Charles. The way he used to hum to her belly before their baby came. For the first time in months, she didn't feel angry. Just empty. She turned and walked away before they could notice. The photo frame. One afternoon, Madison was hosting a lunch meeting with potential investors. She prided herself on control, every flower in place, every dish timed perfectly. But during dessert, Lily ran into the dining room barefoot, clutching something in her small hand. "Miss Madison," she cried. "Look what I found." Before Madison could stop her, the girl placed a cracked silver frame on the table, a photo of Madison and her late husband on their honeymoon. Gasps. Silence. Madison's face drained of color. That photo had been hidden in her study for months, no one was allowed in there. "Evan," she shouted. He appeared instantly, breathless. "Lily, what did you?" "Daddy, I just wanted to show her she was smiling." Madison's voice trembled with rage. "You invaded my privacy. Both of you." "I swear, ma'am, I didn't." "Enough," she snapped. "Pack your things. You're fired." Evan's face fell. "Please, Miss Hill, she didn't mean harm." But her fury was unstoppable. "Out. Now." Lily began to cry. "I'm sorry. I'm sorry." Evan carried her out, whispering comfort, his harmonica falling from his pocket onto the marble floor with a hollow clink. Madison stood frozen as they disappeared through the door. The silence after their footsteps faded was deafening. That night, she poured herself another glass of wine, but it tasted like guilt. The accident. It was storming the next evening when Madison heard a knock. She ignored it, until it came again, louder, desperate. When she opened the door, a drenched young man stood panting. "Are you Mrs. Hill? You need to come quick, there's been an accident down the road." Madison grabbed her coat and followed him through the rain. When she saw it, her knees gave out. A pickup truck had skidded off the highway and crashed into a ditch. The driver's door was bent, and through the broken glass, she saw Evan, unconscious, his arm protectively wrapped around Lily, who was crying softly. "No," Madison whispered, rushing forward. "No." Paramedics arrived moments later, lifting them onto stretchers. Lily kept calling, "Daddy? Daddy?" Madison held her tiny hand and said, "It's okay, sweetheart. You'll be okay." But inside, guilt twisted like a knife. She'd thrown them out into the storm. The letter. At the hospital, Madison waited for hours. When the doctor finally came out, his voice was grim but calm. "The little girl will recover soon. Her father, he's stable. But there's something you should see." He handed Madison a small envelope labeled for Miss Hill. Her hands trembled as she opened it. Inside was a note, written in neat, careful handwriting. "Miss Hill. If you're reading this, it means I didn't get to say thank you. You gave me a roof when no one else would. I know I'm not the butler you wanted, but I just wanted to earn enough to give Lily a better life, maybe music lessons. She's got a gift, you know. She can hear songs in silence. I noticed how you look at the window at night, like you're listening for someone who's gone. I play the harmonica because it helps me feel